a major case against President-elect Donald Trump that claimed he unlawfully attempted to void the 2020 election, was dismissed by a U.S. federal judge. Citing a Justice Department code that prohibits the prosecution of a sitting president, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, who initiated the criminal investigation against Trump, has requested that the charges be withdrawn. The case was dismissed without prejudice by U.S. District Court Judge Tanya S. Chutkan, which means that the accusations may be refiled once Trump's second term is over. Moreover, Smith has requested the dismissal of his lawsuit accusing Trump of inappropriately retaining secret documents. In both cases, the president-elect had entered a not guilty plea. In a brief in the election lawsuit, Smith stated that the Department of Justice has long maintained that the U.S. Constitution prohibits the federal indictment and subsequent criminal prosecution of a sitting president. In the 6-page filing, Smith further stated that this result is not based on the merits or strength of the case against the defendant.
Special counsel Jack Smith filed 2 motions today. One was to end the case on how Trump handled classified documents after his first presidency, where prosecutors had been appealing a previous dismissal. The other was to dismiss the 2020 election interference case. Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is overseeing the case, has agreed to do so. The move to end the cases is not exactly a surprise. Smith explains in his motions this is in line with long-standing Justice Department policy of not prosecuting a sitting president. In the election interference dismissal motion, Smith wrote, quote, "The government's position on the merits of the defendant's prosecution has not changed, but the circumstances have. The circumstances, of course, being Trump's election victory and inauguration in less than 2 months." A spokesperson for Trump said, quote, "The American people re-elected President Trump with an overwhelming mandate to make America great again. Today's decision by the DOJ ends the unconstitutional federal cases against President Trump and is a major victory for the rule of law." Meanwhile, Trump has finalized his cabinet secretary picks for his incoming administration, and CBS News polling shows 59% of Americans approve of Trump's handling of the presidential transition so far. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland joins me now. Scott, walk us through how we got here, why the special counsel is moving to dismiss both of these cases.
This chapter in American history, this first ever federal criminal prosecution of a former president, really ended anticlimactically with this narrow 6-page filing late today from the special counsel Jack Smith saying his case is not flawed, his case didn't get weakened, but that you just cannot prosecute a sitting U.S. president, that the Constitution and the Department of Justice bar that. So he asked for the case to be not paused, not put on hold till 2029, but dismissed, therefore ending this 16-month odyssey of Donald Trump becoming the first president ever to be charged with felony crimes or any crime at all, the Supreme Court weighing in and issuing Trump and future presidents a form of presidential immunity, a second grand jury coming back, reporting up a new indictment against Donald Trump, and then this odyssey ends the week of Thanksgiving with Jack Smith surrendering the case because of the election.
Why is it an important distinction in the election interference case, Moston, that Jack Smith isn't moving to have the case dismissed based on merit but on circumstance? Why was it important for him to have that on the record?
Yeah, he's seeking to have this case dismissed and succeeded in having this case dismissed without prejudice, which would allow a future prosecution of Donald Trump for this case in 2029. Doesn't mean Jack Smith would bring the case, but that the case could be brought again after the Trump presidency. Legal expert Scott Frederickson, a former federal prosecutor, tells CBS News he would expect Trump to make a move to either have his new attorney general in 2025 seek to get this case dismissed with prejudice, or Trump will seek to pardon himself, to inoculate himself in 2029 from this case resurfacing, regenerating in some way, shape, or form.
After leaving office, Trump entered a legal realm never seen by a former president before, being the first to be charged with a crime and subsequently found guilty in a case involving a payment he made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. He was charged with around 100 crimes at the start of the year, including those related to the 2 federal prosecutions. Trump reacted to the cases being dismissed on Truth Social, claiming that they were empty and lawless and should never have been brought, along with the other cases he has faced in Georgia and New York.